Hello everybody, this is Frogman and welcome back to Engineer's Life 2. We kind of started working on a little bit of a ore processing system building kind of thing the last episode, and I have since not really touched much more other than I've kind of been doing a little bit of exterior decoration and or making a little bit of logistics lines working so we can actually get a few things done outside. But I was kind of just gonna we'll look at that here in just a second. I've been kind of doing a few other things off camera as well, and I guess we can start with those kind of things. And as you guys notice, the little boxes are red and green. Of course, it's Christmas and all that wonderful good stuff, so I hope everybody's having or working on having a good holiday. And me, I'm going to be cooking here pretty shortly to do a whole bunch of stuff. So there's going to be some things that you guys are going to see right off the bat that are going to be a little different. Namely, there's this line of belts right here that I can just hurt myself because I can punch. This is going to be the main input line for the storage system. It's going to live, of course, right over here. And that is going to be where the factory is going to be delivering parts pieces for the time being. Those are just mainly going to be raw materials, hopefully that'll be coming through here, so like ingots and stuff like that. So that just comes through the whole thing, gets stuck into this little wooden storage crate, and I don't know why there was a piece of rotten flesh in that. He must have died somewhere out there. And then that is picked up by that import cable and then put into the simple storage system. So eventually we're going to be replacing the main storage system with refined storage. I'm actually kind of starting to work on a little bit of that idea because we're going to need to start actually being able to do a few things with it. Mainly the auto crafting, I think we're going to be saying, we don't really need the auto crafting, but there is going to be a little bit of auto crafting that I want to be able to do. But yeah, for now, let's go ahead and look at the first thing that we're going to be messing with, and that's kind of this little line over here that we were looking at maybe a little while ago. In order to make an advanced machine frame so that we can get more into laser drills and material stonework factories and resourceful furnaces, which I find this rather interesting, the laser drills, the laser stuff like that especially, we need to be able to make the advanced machine frames, which requires netherite scrap. Now, we can go get netherite. We can spend hours upon hours upon hours blowing up the nether trying to find netherite, or we can go do something like this. Yes, I got up on top of the roof of the nether because of the fact that I think it's this block right here, right underneath that block is a single block of bedrock, and there are ways of being able to glitch through the bedrock so that you can, get up on top. And I know it's kind of loud and it's kind of annoying up here. I've gained an extra heart. Thank you very much. Wonderful. The reason why we're up here is because in the nether, if we go ahead and grab our little, where is my book? Hang on a minute. It's loud. Where is the ambient environment, I think? Thank you. Good. I don't need to listen to the junk and the added crap that they put onto the nether. We're currently, what is it, Basalt Delta? This is pretty much right above where we spawned in. Anyhow, so let's grab the book. We need to be able to get netherite scrap. We need to do a few things. So simple machinery, heavy machinery, we need the excavator, we need the minerals, and we need to go look through the mineral stuff. And in here, right off the bat, is going to be an archaic dig site. Where you're going to get gravel and you're going to get ancient debris. So 60% of that's going to be gravel, 40% of that is going to be ancient debris. And if we grab this little book right here, where is it? Is it that one? One of these has it in it. I forget. I think it's the one that's over there. This has quartzite veins. This was just me just taking a sample up here just to see what would happen. That's going to have nether quartz in it. And this one right over here is going to give us a little bit of netherite. And I didn't really want to break that, but it doesn't really matter. We'll sort that out later. So essentially, there's going to be 10,000 ores expected yield in this sample, which means, what is it? 60% of that is going to be gravel, which kind of is not cool, but it is going to be able to give us a little bit of stuff. So, excuse me, the netherite scrap. Netherite scrap is going to be mainly used for some things along these lines, mainly going to be for these advanced machine frames, plus possible, being able to add to various other little things to be able to make things. So like netherite ingots, we're going to be able to make a nether pack, which I think is actually better than what we have now. We're going to need the netherite for the network transmitters for the refined storage, which is kind of what I'm interested in because we don't, and this is really annoying, have a magical way to transport things between dimensions. This is the only way to do it. So again, we'll have to play around with that, and this is more things to go to here. And yeah, transceiver, receiver, lodestones, don't need to worry about those. Reprocessor collector, that's another interesting thing to do. And the ender sack, just stuff like that. So there's going to be some things. We're going to need some of it, but I don't think we're going to need a massive amount of it. Blah, finish your statement. The only real problem is this is a nether, and there's not a real easy way to make power in the nether without doing a lot of really goofy stuff. So I am going to figure out a way to get as much of that as I can, and then, well, we'll just have to go along that line. I mean, the only real easy way that I know to make the needed amount of power to run an excavator, so 4,000 RF a tick, is going to be in probably Peaceful Atom in here. We're going to have to build a small reactor here to be able to run the thing. So, I mean, maybe that's how we're going to do it, or maybe we'll do something else. What I was kind of figuring out doing, actually, was just taking several tanks of diesel fuel or oil or whatever, and just building a diesel generator right here next to it, and then just filling that generator up occasionally and just letting it run. But that's going to be a later, not going to do it right now thing. I just wanted to let you guys know that if you're going to do something, if you're going to play in the nether, I mean, you can do whatever you want to. You can get down underneath of it, you can go above it, you can go wherever. It's just easier at times to do certain things like what I had to do here. So can I get out of here? Where is my backpack? Give me that. Not that, this. Our stuff is glitched out. Can I have 3 levels, please? Thank you. And we need to go back to the base. All right, let's go take a look at the rest of this stuff once I take a nap. Okay, so in between episodes, a little bit more. We're just going to be kind of doing an in between episodes, guy. We might try to do a little bit of building. We may go ahead and start working on oil, because oil is going to be something that we're going to have to use to do a few things. Let me see. Transportation. I kind of played around a little bit in this just because we did have a little bit of the ability to do a few things. So I unlocked a couple of these, made the ranch, kind of did a few things. And we're going to probably play with at least rails in the overworld, because of the fact that we're going to have to haul some things a little bit further away than I wanted to. So we can start taking a look at some of the stuff that I did do after the end of last episode. First thing I started doing, I guess, is realizing that we're going to need to have some method of transportation to get from point A in the factory to a storage system, at least for a return line. And we also need to be able to sift out materials so that we can put them in this factory. So right now, what's going on, or at least this ore processing factory. So what happens is right up here in this corner, and we can climb these things, climb our little supports. I'm missing the block that I really want right here, which is the angled. Some I forget which mod it was, or maybe it was just part of the other mod. But you can get an angled version of these, and we're gonna have to probably use the little other, what is it, carpenter? They're not carpenter blocks anymore, but scaffolding. There's a structure block, I think is what it's called. Whatever. I'll have to look at them, but there is a block that you can use to make these things angled, and that's what I wanted. I wanted to kind of have an angle. But anyhow, we're up here. We have a little bitty. Let me see. Basically, how this is going to work pretty much is that there is a main line underneath that is heading all the way into the factory from over there, and this will be where we plug all of the other machines and things in that we need, so that if something needs to be processed, crafted, or otherwise, it will be returned on that line once it has been done. The top line here is going to be a pull in from over there, because we had several ore deposits and things over there that we'll then just put up excavators. They'll pump that stuff into this line, which will then go down and into this little factory machinery thingy area. On the bottom line in here, I have a item router, which if I can click on it, will take all of the ore samples pretty much, place them into the top area from this line. And again, there is a ore sample patch there, and an ore sample patch there, and an ore sample patch there, and an ore sample patch there. So a lot of that stuff is just going to flow into this line, pop up into this belt, and go into our little processing facility. And the other thing I need to do in here, and I keep forgetting to do this, is a very good thing to do with item routers. And we're going to look at it. So in this item router, it sees 3 different directions. It sees the stuff that goes that way, the stuff that comes in this side, and the stuff that goes out the top. The thing is an item router will kind of tend to be stupid and not put things exactly where you think where you want them. So in reality, just because we have this set here to, filter this direction does not necessarily mean that it won't try to put it back out on the blue line, because we didn't designate a thing here. We didn't designate a filter in the blue line. So that's the south direction. So that means if it gets something in, say, the blue side, it can put stuff back out the blue side, and then we'll just sit there and cycle it back and forth until it finally does it. Item routers are kind of like a reasonably decent splitter, in of the fact that if you put something in one side, it will attempt to split things evenly, or I should say spread things evenly across any other connected output. So the best option here is try to find something that will never be put in on your input, and then mark it out. So highly likely we may never, ever see light blue wool. So light blue wool. Put that in there. That highly likely it will never see light blue wool, which means it will never put anything back out the input. So it's just one of those little things that kind of helps on performance with these belts if you're going to use them, because of the fact that item router is not going to sit there and continuously cycle things. Item routers can be very, very CPU intensive, or at least they used to be. And it's mainly due to the fact that if you stack them side by side and try to use them as a way of instantly transferring things one direction or the other, or as a long line of just quick transfer things, make sure you're putting in filters in your inputs of things that will never, ever go in it. Because again, that way it won't try to reprocess things. And when you have item routers stacked next to each other, it will put it out the input, which means it puts it in the router before that, and the router before that, and the router before that. So just a way of trying to help out your computer to not have a meltdown when you're doing things. So we did move all of the wires, and I did make a change in the coding. I did finally, thank you to the comments coming in again, of where the coding is for the HV wiring, or the wiring in particular. I've removed, and I did it on just the, I believe I did it on just the HV wiring, but I removed the wire line loss. So what that will mean is over time and over distance, I think they show it in here, they tell it. I'll have to go back to the beginning. Power wires and generations, basic wiring. It should say something about line loss over a distance. Note that I have checked blah, blah, blah. Where is this? It should be in here somewhere where it states there's a line loss on the wires, which I probably have already passed it. Doesn't really matter. HV wire and MV wire, I think, had a 0.2 or 0.02% line loss over 100 blocks, or whatever the number is. I don't remember. I don't even have the configuration open, or otherwise, you guys said, just go find the config. It's right in it. And sometimes with chunk loading, and this is coming from, like, say, the other packs that I've played in the last several years that have, immersive engineering as their main form of passing RF around. Removing the line loss will sometimes remove the random burning that you get. Granted, it's a little cheaty, because now I don't have a loss of RF from one point to another, and I can kind of go forever on that. I get it, it's fine. I think the other mod that I really want to put in here, if we can find it, is going to be the AC wiring that actually allows you to transfer power even further at higher voltages, or whatever the number is. But it's just something that I've seen happen, and something that I've seen fix itself if you do that. So that being said, I logged in today, and all of the HV wires this direction and that direction were all burnt again. So it is what it is. I don't understand why it's doing it. It doesn't make any sense to me to be doing it, but it does. The thing is I spent several hours building all of these little lines, trying to figure out how I wanted things, and you see it already popped it again. It was fine. It was fine. I played several hours the other day, and it just, I don't understand why it's burning again. Anyhow, we'll hook things up. The other thing that I've noticed specifically is the burn that happens right there. That burn that happens right there causes all kinds of problems. And if I don't keep again, there's no possible way in any of this whole network of power that we're drawing more than the rated amount that an HV wire can do. So I don't understand why. It must just be a chunk loading problem. But anyhow, Let's hook the wire back up so the base doesn't run out of power. And that goes over there. Yep, all the way back up to that hill. That thing is not on. I don't even understand why it blows that. Click. There. Up. There you go. All right. But yeah, it's getting a little expensive on that. So anyhow, we're going to just continue on messing around with what we're going to be doing. We've definitely been wasting a little bit of time, or I should say just talking here. So the plans for today are we're going to need to start thinking about crafting a lot of steel in a hurry. And I kind of, the reason why it took several hours is because of the fact that we're still making steel in a kind of a really sorry way of doing it. So we need to start thinking about making the steel plant that I want to place over here in this little valley spot right here. So the reason, I don't know if I'm pretty sure I showed you guys this early on. There is a coal deposit over there. There's a coal deposit that I found that's up by that tree. And there is an iron deposit right here. So what I was kind of figuring is we're going to build a kind of a building in this corner that is going to produce coal coke for us, grind the coal coke up, and then, well, I should say grind the coal coke up. I think what we're probably going to do for now is just run blast furnaces. I think what we're going to do, I'll probably run like 3 or 4 of them or whatever, but we're going to make a bunch of coke ovens and a bunch of blast furnaces back here so that we can kind of just keep up with steel production, because I really kind of want to have a lot of steel. So I think what we're going to do right now is we're going to kind of grab our stuff out and figure out where we kind of want to lay things out, and then I'm going to go get a bunch of resources and we're going to build it. So let's say we got a bunch of blackstone. Those can be those, and we have some treated wood. I don't want treated wood. We'll grab the polished jasper, grab a bunch of it, and what do we want for a floor? Maybe we won't worry about the floor right now. Maybe we'll do some bricks on the floor. Maybe we'll do the really nice clinker bricks on the floor, and we're going to have to go take a nap. So this is kind of pretty much going to be the ore processing number 2, since we're going to be doing it twice. Anyhow, let's go. I don't want you. I don't need anything here. So again, we have an issue here because the iron is right smack dab in the middle of this area, right where I wanted to put it. So that means what we're going to probably do is do coke ovens this direction because the coal is up there, which I believe that's going to give us, where is it? Not arc furnace, excavator, minerals. Click through this real quick. It's going to give us regular coal, isn't it? It's bituminous coal. Let's go look at this, or bituminous, whatever you want to call it. Where is it? It's right up here. Right here. So, yeah. And you have 39,000. 29,000. That's interesting. Whatever. We'll put you down. And then, like I said, there's another one back here. So generally what that's going to be is that's going to, hello, come on game, quit fooling around with me. Yep, okay, well we can look through the world because of a visual glitch, whatever. We're going to build it regardless here because it's going to give us a nice little corner to kind of take care of this mess. But eventually, again, depending on how much steel we plan on making or doing or whatever, it may end up using everything that's here. So let's go ahead and figure out how we want coke ovens, or at least how many coke ovens I think we're going to say we're going to want. Do that. There it goes. Thank you. Get out of my life. Thank you. Alrighty, good. Now we can actually do something. Of course, I'm going to pick all that up, and it's going to end up in a trash can, but hey. Okay, so we're going to line probably 3 or 4 coke ovens back here. So we'll just put these down as like this. Because we're going to do it the old way, or the slow way. It's one of those, we're going to need to be, we don't need to make a massive amount. I mean, I don't need to be able to make it in a hurry, but I do want to make it reasonably quick. So, We'll do that for those, and then what we'll need to do in somewhere in this corner, probably right here, is we're going to also need to process that material. Where is something that I can use? I don't want to use that. We'll use those. Using a crusher in this corner. So whatever's going to come out of that excavator is going to get pulled out of a crusher. Do we want to do it this way? Trying to figure out how I want this building to look. Likely will be up in the air a little bit too. This may end up being the floor again, like we did that other building over there. And I think, yeah, one crusher should be enough to take care of the stuff coming out of that. Again, there's no real easy way of doing coal into coal ore unless we do like that. So that's going to get us 4 every single time. Of course, we could do bees again eventually, so that's one of those things we could work on doing. But yeah, I think that's what we'll do. I think we'll end up doing a crusher, so we'll have the excavator right up there, or maybe I'll dig it into that wall. Maybe that's what we'll do, is we'll dig it into that mountain over there, and then it can come down into this crusher. The crusher will then deliver all of the coal into these guys right here, and then we're going to end up having to redstone control that so that it doesn't screw things up on us. I don't want your seeds or you flowers. Get out of my life. Thank you. Alrighty then. So that'll give us an idea here. Then the iron ore will be made, of course, right in this general area. That excavator is going to sit right here on top of this thing, probably pointed that direction. So I think what we'll say on that end of it is we will do, I don't know, 4 of these might support 2 blast furnaces reasonably well. Usually, I think that's how that works. So I think maybe we'll do something right here. No, that's a little too close. We're going to have to back that up. That was the problem that I had with this, is I wanted to build a nice big building right here, but I couldn't do it because the iron was going to be right smack dab in the middle of it. So let's do it maybe lined up right here. And then we need mention this. And then do that again. And that should work pretty well. Reasonably well. So I got a whole bunch of stuff I got to put down then, don't I? All right. I will go get some parts, pieces, and then we're going to go ahead and throw this together and get this working. And hopefully goes from there. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Next, I'm going to put the floor down first, but yeah. All right, so we kind of decided we're going to make a little, or I should say I made a decision. We're not going to do what we were going to do. I had this all kind of built out and started squaring off the walls and doing pretty things and realized, you know, it's quite a long ways to walk from this factory back over to the base. So we're going to move it. I'm going to put it over there. So I went ahead and got the excavators set up at least where they need to go. I have not turned them on, so they haven't been able to dig their little holes out yet. The coal one up here, I decided I was going to go ahead and kind of make a nice little platform for it because, you know, at least it's going to be sitting on a somewhat reinforced concrete wall structure here. And again, it's ready to go. We just need to turn them on and let them do the digging and the stuff and all that wonderful thing. So it's got a bunch of dirt it's going to pick out and then start spitting at us. We'll worry about those as the time comes. The same with the iron one down here. I actually need to pick this up and look at this and see exactly what this is, because we're going to have some excess stuff. So yeah, this is the one that's going to have nickel in it as well. Well, we may end up just doing a few things elsewise. But anyhow, let's go over here. We're going to leave all this junk sit here. We're going to look at what we're going to do this time. So I've got everything, I think, laid out kind of the way I want it. So I think our entrance is going to be on this side of the building. And that's going to mean I'm going to build another bridge or 2 to get into here. Maybe we'll build 1 bridge and a path over this direction. I don't know. I got to cut trees down and stuff. But we're going to put the coke ovens on this side over here. And that way we can kind of just sort of figure things out. The blast furnaces will be on this side. I know it's kind of one of those, why are you doing this? You have access to the other thing. This doesn't cost a lot of electricity. It doesn't cost a lot of RF to run this and this and this. It's going to cost us a lot of RF to run both of those. But as far as the rest of this area goes, these aren't going to take a lot to run. That's not really going to take a lot to run. And regardless, that's the only way you can make coal coke. So an arc furnace requires that you first off be able to power the arc furnace and also be able to grind the coal coke into coal coke dust. So we're not going to worry about that. Now, as far as the wiring and the plumbing, this is going to be a little goofy. We're going to try to integrate the belts in as much as possible, but I think we're going to have to use the simple storage to be able to actually do the logic that I want to do as far as the logic is concerned. Because of how these fill, it's a kind of a pain in the butt. So let's go start smacking things on their sides and getting them set up so that we can actually see what's going on here. And I believe you were that one. Yes, cool. Then you get that, and you get that. And this is going to be storage for our the slag that comes out of the back of these, because we actually need the slag. We're actually going to use it for various things. It's how you get concrete, for that matter. And you know, there's uses for slags. Even that much, like this brick is really nice looking, and I need to actually make a bunch of that stuff too. It's just getting a hold of the bricks that's a kind of a royal pain right now, but whatever. Let's go ahead and smack these down so that we have them set up and ready to go. And I'm hoping that these can keep up with those. So the issue is going to be that all of these machines, or at least this machine, does not have an overrun switch, or meaning you can back stuff it, but it's going to continuously stuff stuff out of it. It's going to continuously push things out of it. The same with those machines. They're going to continuously push stuff out of them until they run out of a resource. So we're going to have to do a little bit of, well, we're going to have to do a little bit of redstoning back here. Like I said, I was going to try to do this whole mess with the applied energistics, i.e. belts and whatnot, but I think, like I said, because of how these work, it's going to be easier to just use the systems that we have. So let's start with, you know what I really should have done, and I screwed up when I did it. Dang it. Can I? I guess I'm going to have to reset these. Whatever, we're going to do this, and then what we're going to do is input, input, output, and then input, input, output. Put them back. And I may make this wider. I have not made up my mind yet. Let's see, where is your levers? Contact lever can go right there and turn that on, and that can go right here, and that can get turned on. And I think I left the pipe. Yeah, I left the pipe. Back and forth and back and forth we go. Where did you put your pipe? It is in... Let me have that box. And I don't have any pipe. Did I not make any pipe? I'm going to have to move all that stuff. Huh. The big problem, again, is going to be dealing with this little thing right here. Because we're going to be feeding it coal and iron and nickel, right? I think coal ore will go to coal. We'll have a 15% chance of sulfur dust. So we're going to have a trash can that we're going to need to be using as well. So there will be an item filter right here, item router, whatever, with a trash can. And I'm heavily contemplating just trashing the nickel, because we're going to get a lot of nickel as we go. I mean, we're going to get a bunch of this. And we can run it through a thing. All I want to do is just cook the iron so that the iron gets cooked and it goes. That's what this block is for. It's actually going to be maybe where we put the little powered furnace thingy that we have over there. But I'm going to have to sit here and kind of stare at this a while and make it kind of common sense in my head to work. Because what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to insert the coal that we're going to get out of here, and then stop inserting the coal. I should say stop running the coal up there when we have everything we need done. So part of this is going to be a bunch of logical redstone that we're going to have to play with, where basically what I'm going to do is we're going to stuff coal into these until they can't take it anymore, and then we'll stop bringing coal over there. I'm probably going to end up having like a secondary storage hanging like right here probably, that will then just run, and when that storage is full or most of the way full, we'll shut the coal that dude off up there, that excavator off up there, from running these little things. And I'm probably going to be using a drawer. Come on. Drawer. We're going to use an oak drawer, one of these storage drawers. I'm not going to be using a compacting drawer. We're going to be using a regular drawer. And then there should be a redstone thing upgrade, emit signal for total storage kind of deal. One of these in here like that, we can use that along with some of these other fancy little switches to kind of figure out when we need to turn that on and off based off of how much is in the one thing. And then the deal with that will be is that, well, we'll have to do the same thing with a storage for coal coke. So we'll have to know when the coal coke storage is too full, because you're kind of having, like I said, you're kind of playing with this. I can't backstuff the stuff that we're using. I'll have to use something else. So we can backstuff these machines, but they're not going to put an output as far as a fullness or emptiness redstone signal, and neither do these things. So we're going to have some fun playing around with this. But I think what we're going to do for now, it might be a little short episode. I have a lot of logistics that I need to build. I've got to build some more of these little, these little walkways and these pathways for the stuff to come down off of here, off of that hill and behind us into this crusher. And then I'm going to have to build out we're going to have to go build all of the parts pieces for the other system thing. And I'm looking at it, and this is going to be very late because I've been sitting here fighting and playing around with this game once again. So I do think before we end though, next episode, I'm going to be shutting off the wire burn on the high voltage wires, because every time I reload the game, we blow every wire out here. So it's already popped again, isn't it? And it shouldn't be. So I'm going to say this is likely a bug, a problem, something. I don't know what the deal is, but again, we keep talking about it. There is no reason for those wires to be blowing. There's no reason at all. We're not drawing any more than that anyway, and I don't ever really probably see this factory as doing that much work. So I will probably be shutting off the wire burn for this is what I mean. It was all just there, and then we walked into this chunk and something happened. So anyhow, I'm going to go fix all these wires, and I will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope everybody has a nice and happy holiday, Merry Christmas, whatever you guys celebrate. Please do it, enjoy it, and do it safely, and enjoy family while you can, while we have all these wonderful fun times and capable of being able to do things. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.